What's up, nerds? Thanks for clicking on the video. I am so freaking excited for the revamp of this Just the Tip series. And before I get into today's video, I just wanted to kind of show you the layout of how this series is going to break down. Alright, so over the next 12 weeks, I'm going to break down each of the big three into what I consider the most important things that I have learned in this sport as an athlete and as a coach to help improve the technique of the lift. And the way I'm going to go about this is by posting one video per week every single Tuesday at 12 p.m. Central Standard Time. Now those videos are going to revolve. So week 1 will be squats, week 2 will be bench, week 3 will be deadlifts, and then it'll go back to squats and then bench and then deadlifts. You see how this will play out. So it'll basically be 4 videos on each topic spanning over 12 weeks. It's going to be a lot of fun, and hopefully there's a lot of learning that takes place in this process. So without further ado, let's get into today's video. And today's video is all about the squat. We're going to be going over everything from grip width to should you have your thumb over the bar, should you wrap it around the bar, and then also some unique cues that I use to help me stay tight during the squat. Alright, let's kick this off by saying this video is for low bar squatters and low bar squatters only, so if you squat high bar, I'm sorry, this one's not for you. Let's dive into it. And we're going to start with grip width. Like, how wide should you grip on the bar, and does your grip actually affect the squat? So when we take a look at powerlifting, we see 2 extremes in grip width. We see the super wide, gripping all the way out to the weights or the plates, and then we see super narrow, gripping literally like on top of the shoulders and sometimes even inside of the shoulders. Now let's take a look at the first scenario. The person, the lifter that grips super wide on the bar. Now the one thing we want to make sure of is that this lifter still has a pretty significant degree of bend in their elbow, because the straighter their arm gets, the weaker that person is, no matter who it is. And I can show you this by this demonstration. If you were to take your arms and put them straight out to the sides, and you were to have someone push down your hands, which would be the furthest away from you possible, you would not be able to keep your arms upright. They would end up winning the battle, and this is just due to the fact that the further away from your midline you are, the weaker we are as human beings. So when you're gripping super wide, make sure that you still have a pretty significant degree of bend in your elbow, or else you're sacrificing the lift just for your mobility's sake. So just because you can grip wider or it's more comfortable doesn't necessarily mean that it's good for you, in the sense of you could be losing a lot of pounds just due to the fact that you're in a disadvantageous position. And then if we talk about scenario 2, the lifter that grips super close, the one thing we want to make sure here is that the lifter is not moving into a range where they're starting to get internal rotation of their shoulder. And what I mean by this is there's a certain point to where a person will grip where their hands will continue to move in, but their elbows will move out and away from them. Okay, this is internal rotation of the shoulder, and it causes your elbows to flare outwards, which is not what we want in the low bar squat. Because for those of you that know this, or maybe you don't know this, your elbows should be pointing directly behind you. Not down, but directly behind you in the low bar squat. And this is so that you can create the best shelf possible for that bar to sit on. Alright, so now that we've established our grip width, we've established that there are 2 extremes, the super wide, the super narrow, and we've basically come to the conclusion, or you should have come to the conclusion, that you should grip as close as your mobility allows you to grip without internal rotation of the shoulders. So your elbow should stay flared back, not down, not out, but back. And if there are any issues with that, it needs to be fixed through mobility work so that you can have the best shelf as possible for that bar to sit on, so that you're not holding it in your hands, and also you remain tight through your upper back during the squat, thus keeping you nice and safe. But now let's move on to the other part of grip, this thumb around the bar or thumbs over the bar grip, also known as the suicide grip. And which one of these is actually better for low bar squatting? Now, a lot of people argue that keeping their thumb around the bar causes pain and putting their thumb over the bar takes away the pain. And this doesn't make sense to me, in the sense that your one job with your hands during the squat is just to keep the bar from rolling. It's not to hold the bar up, you're not holding the weight, you're just keeping it from rolling or rotating. And that's it. So your shoulders and your upper back are doing the work of actually supporting the load of the weight. And if your hands are supporting the load of the weight, well, then you're squatting incorrectly. See, you're not creating a shelf for the bar to sit on, therefore your arms are having to do it all, and no wonder they're in a lot of pain because you're in a pretty awkward position to hold some weight on your back. Now, the argument that I'll make is grip width is, to me, is dependent upon being able to get one of these two cues. Very simply, if you can get one and not the other and it helps you maintain tightness and you got a better shelf, then obviously you go with that grip. So for your hands around the bar, your thumb around the bar in a normal grip, the cue that most people are taught is like do a lat pull down, which to me doesn't make sense because if you see a lat pull down, your elbows are not pointed backwards like they are in the low bar squat, they're pointed downwards. Now, I used to use this cue and I used to actually tell athletes to do it. But then I realized one day that anatomically it doesn't make sense. So what I now think about, or what I now tell them to think about is doing this motion right here. Right? It's like they're throwing a baseball with each arm. And if they do that, they'll be able to get their elbows up while pulling the bar successfully into that shelf a little bit harder, thus maintaining more upper back tightness. You get a better shelf, and there's more rigidity throughout. Okay? So you are in this position, your thumbs are over the bar, your job is to literally press into the bar just like you are doing a suicide gripped bench press. And that's it. It's pretty simple. Those two cues. So whichever one you get better, that's the one you go with. That's the grip you choose. Not because it's pain-free or painful, because that should be solved by creating the shelf, but by whichever cueing helps you remain tighter better. All right, so that pretty much wraps it up for me. Hopefully you understand a little bit more about how your grip width can affect your squat as well as your actual grip on the bar, going thumb over the bar or thumb under the bar. And if you're still having trouble creating a shelf, don't worry, I got you. On the 15th of next month, I'm going to be releasing a video on how to create a better shelf. And this is going to build on top of the grip width video that we talked about here. And I think that kind of gives away a little bit of how these videos work. They build on top of each other so that you have this one massive solid technique piece to work with. Alright, that's it for me. Remember to give the video a thumbs up if you liked it. I really appreciate all the support. Share this with a friend who needs some advice. And I'll catch you nerds next Tuesday. Peace.